From your right now, the Roulettes are running in for their special venue show in wedge formation. Have your cameras ready, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together and make them welcome, the Roulettes. The Roulettes begin their performance today with a roulette loop, pulling around 4 to 5G. In rough terms, that means 4 to 5 times the force of gravity, making the pilots and all their equipment weigh around 400 kilograms in the cockpit.
They're always together, right?
The aircraft you're seeing today, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Pilatus PC-9, designed in Switzerland, built in Australia. The Royal Australian Air Force took delivery of these aircraft in 1990, and since then the entire fleet have flown around 60,000 hours collectively. They're used as the advanced trainer on pilots course, as well as the aerobatic display flying you're seeing today. They're also a different colour scheme, painted all grey, and used as forward air control aircraft at RAAF base Williamtown, located in Newcastle in Australia.
As you're flying these formations, it looks like they're pretty close.
That's right, Joe. These aircraft throughout the entire display will be no further than around 3 metres from each other. These pilots are using visual cues to line up with the leader's aircraft to maintain perfect position. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, the only pilot actually looking out today and looking forward to make sure the show is done safely is roulette leader, squadron leader Steve Baker, who is out the front today. Every other pilot is doing nothing but looking directly at his aircraft to make sure that they are in perfect position. There are no autopilots here, ladies and gentlemen, just highly refined hand-eye coordination.
Well, that's very close.
It's really one of the incredible things that you can see getting out of these very big zooms on your camera, and you take a still photograph and you go back and look at it, and to see that picture of everyone looking as squadron leader while he's flying.
Yeah, exactly. There's a big trust exercise amongst all the pilots. So when a pilot's selected for a roulette position, he or she will undergo about 4 to 5 months of full-time workup training before they're assessed as safe and ready for public display. Even once they're fully established within the team, each pilot will fly around 3 to 4 days a week as roulette pilots, practicing every show and all the contingencies that come from each display. Out to your right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Roulettes are setting up for the Leaders Benefit Flypast. The Leaders Benefit Flypast is a tribute to our very first roulette leader, Squadron Leader Phil Dunn, who first led the team in 1971, making the Roulettes just over 40 years old and one of the oldest continuing roulette Persian aerobatic display teams anywhere in the world.
Just change formation like that.
Some of the most spectacular photographs from the Singapore Airshow have been of the Roulettes, those bright, amazing colors. They serve another purpose besides just showing up at an aerobatic show like this, right?
That's right, Joe. The colour scheme, while it looks amazing, one of the main reasons we use it is as this aircraft is an advanced trainer that we use to teach pilots in flight school. There's a lot of aircraft in a very confined area doing student sorties. So the colour scheme not only is designed to look great, but also to stand out from a long distance to help us identify aircraft visually in a fairly busy environment. So they're just pulling up for another loop, this time in the Six-Pac formation, and watch over the top as they go from the Six-Pac formation to the Twin-Vic. Aircraft today is the Pratt & Whitney PT6 engine, delivering 1,000 shaft horsepower and capable of pushing the aircraft up to around 600 kilometers per hour.
Now I was going to say, as they go by, you'll notice as well that deep baritone voice of the planes.
That's exactly right. The PT6 engine, it's a wonderfully reliable engine, but it also sounds beautiful, not just with a single aircraft, but with 6 aircraft all purring in perfect harmony. It's a very rare and fantastic sound. As you can see, Roulettes 5 and 6 have detached from the formation and are running in for the roulette mirror. With Roulette 5 now inverted at 500 feet, Roulette 6 will position his aircraft directly underneath. There is no illusion here, ladies and gentlemen. Roulette 5 is directly above Roulette 6.
In the mirror formation, who is leader?
In that particular formation, Roulette 5, he is focusing on flying inverted and keeping height and tracking exactly right. And Roulette 6 is in a very unique position, directly underneath him, looking straight up and making sure that those cues are lined up perfectly to 5. As you can see now, 1 through 4 are running in for the Roulette corkscrew. Roulette 1 is inverted and Roulette 4 flies barrel rolls around the rear of the formation.
Now this looks complicated, but also is a little dangerous.
It is. While we try and make the display look as easy as possible, there is a little bit of danger, an element of risk in the display. So through some of these displays, the pilots will actually go completely blind on the aircraft, which means they lose complete sight of the other aircraft. So when you saw Roulette leader roll inverted, he completely loses sight of Roulettes 2 and 3 who are directly behind and beside him. And as Roulette 4 flies barrel rolls around the formation, again, he at times loses sight of the 3 aircraft in front of him. So there's, as I said before, there's a lot of trust and a lot of practice to make sure that everything goes just right. The Roulettes are now repositioning in the Delta formation. When they come past, you'll note that Roulettes 2 and 3 are in the front row directly next to Roulette 1. They're in a very difficult position, which we call the line of rest position. So they're taking visual cues off Roulette leader, who is directly 90 degrees off to their left and right. Pulling around 4G in this manoeuvre, so they're working very hard. There's a lot of strain on their head, shoulders and neck. But again, they're doing a fantastic job today. Uniquely, all the Roulette pilots are qualified flying instructors from the Central Flying School located at RAAF Base East Sale, about 2 hours drive east of Melbourne. When the Roulettes aren't performing their displays, they're also teaching qualified pilots the art of instructional flying. They're running in now in the Wedge formation for the Wedge to Vulcan rollbacks. Let's listen now live to Steve Baker as he talks the team through the manoeuvre. And again, done perfectly by the boys. So throughout the entire display, Squadron Leader Steve Baker, Roulette 1, is the only one who guides the formation throughout the entire display. So he's giving timing cues and formation position changes, as you heard. So each pilot, while they know the display inside out, back to front, he is guiding them throughout the display to make sure everything's done just right.
Now the Roulettes are 6 nearly identical planes, but the amount of flying that the different pilots are doing is quite different.
That's right. So the most responsible job, obviously, is Roulette Leader, but two of the most difficult jobs is Roulette 5 and 6, particularly in the Vulcan formation that you can see here. Roulettes 5 and 6 are at the rear of the formation, at the far left and right. So as they pull up for this manoeuvre, it's going to be a barrel roll this time. They're going to be furthest away from the Roulette leader. So that means they have to fly a further distance through the air to maintain perfect position. So they're applying full power now to make sure that they don't move out of position. And again, they have to anticipate that power a long way in advance to make sure that they stay exactly where they are.
Now, there's an added dimension as well with propeller aircraft, such as this one, where when you throw on more power or you throw the full forward, something else happens to the steering of the plane. Is that right?
Exactly right, Joe. So every time these pilots either increase or decrease power, the aircraft wants to turn left and right, and that's due to the airflow over the tail. So if you can imagine, ladies and gentlemen, every time you accelerate in your car or put the brakes on it, then wants to swerve left and right, and then put an aircraft around about 3 meters off your wing. So there's a lot of anticipation that goes into the controls to make sure that everything's exactly how it should be. So they're working very hard today, and as an aircraft in formation, they're just constantly adjusting the power and adjusting the angle of bank to make sure they're where they need to be. So it's just a continuing, ongoing process to make sure that they're exactly how they should be. And as you can see today, they're doing a wonderful job. The smoke you can see from the aircraft today, ladies and gentlemen, is generated by spraying a mineral oil and diesel mix into the hot exhaust gases where it's vaporized. This is a modification that we've put onto the aircraft specifically for display flying, and there's an oil tank that holds about 30 litres and it's positioned just forward of the tail. And through a display, the aircraft will go through pretty much all of those 30 litres.
I've been watching this performance for the past week, and a thought crossed my mind that I wonder whether you guys can add maybe eucalyptus oil to it, just to give us a bit of a scent as well.
Yeah, eucalyptus oil will be very good. Make it not only look Australian, but smell Australian too. As roulette pilots, we come from all different types of operational backgrounds, from the airlift group, flying the C-17, the C-130 and the Hercules, the Caribou aircraft, all the way through maritime patrol aircraft up to the very top of the range frontline fighter, the F-18 and the F-18 Super Hornet.
Now, I expect that one of the things that you train for as a military pilot is to fly in a way that is not expected in terms of trying to avoid an enemy and all that. How difficult is it to switch from that mode to the mode of aerobatic display where you have to fly a certain way all the time?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Every day is a challenge, but each pilot is fully trained to fly in all types of weather, at all types of altitudes, and all types of activities, whether it's a low-level strike mission to formation aerobatic flying you see today. We're trained in all different types. And as you can see, the Roulettes have just finished the display with the Roulette Cascade. That brings us to the end of the display today. We look forward to many more displays in the future, and particularly tomorrow, we'll do one show. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you and good afternoon, Singapore.
Thank you very much, Flying Officer Richard Morris from the RAAF. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we bring you to the end of this afternoon's flying display program here at the Singapore Airshow 2012. We hope you've enjoyed today's show, and we'd like to ask you one more time to give your round of applause to all the pilots and their teams who were part of the flying display here at the Singapore Airshow 2012. Coming up in just a few seconds, the results of the lucky draw. If your name is called out, you'll have until 5 o'clock to claim your prize.